Invisible Sherazade, a novel by Sara Noor Racconta. To those who, like Sara, have loved with the strength of a dream and found their own voice within the silence. 1. Sara, the Invisible Woman. There was no description of Sara. You couldn't say if her hair was brown or black, if her eyes were light or dark, if she smiled often or almost never. Not because she didn't have a face, but because no one ever truly looked at it. And when someone did, nothing truly left any lasting impression. No eye color to remember, no gentle curve of a smile capable of stopping time. No voice that left an echo in the air. After meeting her, all that remained was a faint impression, like the trail of a perfume or the brief sound of a footstep on a wet street. Sara believed in only one thing, that the strength of her dream could spread to the one she loved. That dreaming hard enough was all it took for the other to start dreaming with her. She had no weapons, no magnetism, not even anger. She only had the dream. And the dream at times is crueler than any reality. She had learned to live on her tiptoes, hoping that one day someone would notice her. Not for her face, not for her body, but for the light she carried within. But the dream sometimes isn't enough, and when it isn't enough, it leaves only silence. 2. The encounter. It was on a summer evening that Sara saw him for the first time. He was there in front of her, black eyes. Everything about him was black, but not a bad black nor a reassuring one. A liquid, neutral black, as if a fragment of the night had broken off and come to take her. The shadows spoke, and she listened. She was surprised at herself. She had allowed someone to cross her magic circle. She, a street performer, used to enchanting the public and keeping her distance. Every night she would cross paths with so many faces, but none ever truly close. The real magic was meeting him. It was the first night of a performance after 3 months of lockdown. A night of rebirth, a real audience, hands touching, eyes shining, and then him, a black flash in the black night. Jeans, a leather jacket, small dark eyes, a sweet, uncertain voice, a face veiled in darkness but also fragility. An ambiguous softness, as if he were seeking acceptance, as if he were looking for her. The next day he wrote to her. He wanted to see her again. Sara said yes on impulse. She gave him her parents' home address. It was by chance that she was there. Usually she traveled from city to city on tour with her camper. But now she was in her hometown for a small magic festival. At 5 p.m., he arrived with Saverio. Sara had seen them the night before, but she only remembered his friend's name. She welcomed them into the garden, in the shade of the gazebo. She offered them something to drink. Sara talked with Saverio, while he remained silent, smiling. Sara avoided staring at him for too long. Something about him unsettled her. It was a brief visit. She walked them to the gate. She heard Saverio say to him, "Are you happy?" A little later, Sara went out in her car to run an errand. She felt happy, inexplicably happy. Driving through the town, she saw them again. He and Saverio walking under the horse chestnut trees. He seemed like a boy to her, not a man. An eternal adolescent. She didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but she smiled. She slowed down for a moment to watch them, then sped up again. A few days later, Sara left for Sicily. But she could already feel it. He was getting inside her. And she hadn't yet decided if, in this case too, it was a good thing or a bad thing. 3. The gift and the curse. Sara was an HSP, a highly sensitive person. It wasn't an illness. It wasn't a weakness, it was a way of being in the world. Like being born with the skin of your soul laid bare, without filters, without armor. The lights hurt more. The noises reached deep inside. Words, spoken or unspoken, remained like shards of glass. An HSP feels everything. Joy becomes vertigo. Pain becomes darkness. For years, Sara had believed it was a gift. It made her love the little things. A flower on the side of the road, the wind from an open window, an unexpected smile. Then love came, or something that resembled it, and that sensitivity became a blade against her. Every word clung to her like a subtle cut. Every glance went through her like a cold draft. It wasn't a choice. It was her nature. To see, feel, absorb. Always. The kind phrase made her blossom. A cruel one cut her in two. That sensitivity was both a gift and a curse. It allowed her to love with a rare intensity, but it exposed her to a pain that almost no one could bear. When she met that boy with the dark shadow, she did so with open eyes, raw nerves, and no armor. She loved him the way only someone who can't protect themselves can. And for that very reason, every wound would go deeper. Every word, every gesture, every silence would be as heavy as stone. From that defenselessness, the story began. The story of an invisible woman who, though wounded, continued to believe that love could still save her.